Jason Aaron and Ivan Forelli assemble the Avengers 1 Million team one final time as Agamotto tries to find out why Earth's mightiest heroes continue to fight in the face of overwhelming odds. Jason Aaron does one final piece of plot progression before his Avengers Assemble event by reassembling the Avengers 1 Million team and seeking out as well as setting out one of the core questions behind the upcoming event, which is why in the face of such overwhelming and unsurmountable odds do the Avengers keep going. Aaron made the message really clear throughout this entire issue, and that's where he's headed for the series, and setting it out in a great way to bring the team back together one final time. Agamotto also being the leader of this Avengers this time around instead of someone like Odin or the Phoenix is a cool choice, since it's always been a Thor or an Iron Man or a Cap analog, and this team getting to use a magical based hero as their leader is a fun change and matches up nicely with the Mephisto threat. Ivan Forelli again does some colourful cool action sequences with Agamotto and his battle with the devil, and his page design at the start of the issue where Agamotto is helping out the infected caveman was really cool, and I like it was a great way to visualise the magician's powers and how he's helping out these people. The Avengers issue 62 was a fun final piece of the plot development before the big Avengers Assemble event, setting out the clear and interesting concept of why heroes do what they do, but expanding the scope of that not just through the multiverse but also through the history of Earth 616. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10. The Avengers issue 62 finds the Sorcerer Supreme Agamotto respond to a group of cavemen fleeing from their home. Investigating, he finds a man writhing around on the ground, and sensing something is amiss, he removes the illusion on the man, seeing him covered in bugs and spiders. Agamotto blasts them away, taking the man to his sanctum in a volcano as he remembers he was born an ape-like man like these cavemen, but he was also thinking that he might be a spirit made flesh. He puts the thoughts from his mind as he tends to the man, finding him infested with many parasites like mind maggots and flesh nesters. He removes them all from the man and soul stitches him, asking if he feels okay, but the man just runs away from the sorcerer scared. Agamotto wishes they would develop some sort of gratitude after the last few centuries of him helping them. Agamotto suddenly senses someone is there, using his power to remove Mephisto's illusion. Mephisto finds him hoping the cavemen will be enlightened pathetic, since they will just burn him at the stake as a devil-worshipping warlock. Agamotto asks what sort of desperate tampering he's up to now, but Mephisto knows that he's not the one trying to make friends with cavemen. Agamotto readies for a fight as Mephisto unleashes his snake monsters. Suddenly, Agamotto sees the future and how the great heroes of prehistory from Earth like this one are all killed, and he stands alone on Earth 616. He finds that an interesting number, knowing that that is the true number of the beast. Mephisto gloats about all of the other Avengers abandoning him, but Agamotto knows he's never needed anyone else to help defeat Mephisto. Mephisto tells Agamotto that he has bested him 312 times before, but who's counting, as he grabs the hero, unleashing his power onto him and killing the Sorcerer Supreme. Sometime later, as the snow has covered the entire area, the Ghost Rider finds Agamotto is alive, freeing him from the giant snakes that bind him. Agamotto warms himself at the fire as the rider knows that it's getting worse out there, talking about how he had to kill an entire clan of cavemen because they started to believe in a light in the sky, which they began believing in would allow them to eat or starve, and one man claimed to be the voice of this being and was the only one allowed to breed. He had hoped that enough penance would have stopped them, but they never did, and now he has despair for them. He asks Agamotto if he sees the future, does it ever end, but Agamotto is unsure what he means, so the writer asks if sin ever ends. The Warlock knows it doesn't and never will. Instead, humanity will find more ways to slay and defile one another. The writer asks if he knows the torment he endures to be the writer, but Agamotto can't imagine it, as the writer turns back into his human form, asking why he's given so much for a fight they know they never end up winning. Sometime later, the Iron Fist asks Agamotto if he ever answered the writer's question, and he didn't have an answer. Iron Fist thinks that he sees too much on the horizon and misses what's right at his feet. She knows that the people have the capacity to destroy themselves and ruin the entire planet, but they may yet surprise them if they continue to give them a chance. Agamotto knows that Iron Fist continues to fight as Moon Knight arrives, assured by Iron Fist that Agamotto is their friend. The Warlock agrees with Iron Fist, and he sees too much with his eyes, and they are going to need all the heroes they can get. Iron Fist knows she'll be wherever the fight is, but she can't speak for the others. She thinks Agamotto should go start with the big guy. On the moon, Starbrand smashes up the surface as Agamotto Agamotto comes to see him, telling him that he can take away the memory that is angering him and make him forget what he lost. Starbrand knows that his husband's name was Brick and he doesn't want to let him go, wanting the others to feel his pain as well. Agamotto goes to see the Black Panthers, but they deny him entry into Wakanda, so Agamotto leaves them to bar themselves off from the rest of the world, travelling to Asgard instead to see Odin, who doesn't care who they are to fight as long as it gets him out of the realm and away from his new son Thor, who hasn't stopped crying since he was born. Odin collects Mjolnir, angered its temper is rising day by day. Odin says he'll join Agamotto on his mission, but he has one request: Phoenix must not be there. Agamotto knows that won't be a problem as the Phoenix has already left Earth. Agamotto assembles the Avengers, telling them Ghost Rider asked him one question: why do they bother doing what they do when the war seemingly has no end? He knows he could tell them that they are all the heralds of the age of heroes, and he could tell them all of these things and more, but he figured it'd be better if he showed them as he teleports the team to the future where they meet with the present day Avengers.